Hi, welcome to the Defcon Rugby Show. Welcome to Vic and Vern Sports Chat. I'm Vic and I'm on my own today. Vern is a busy bird. See, Boca all the way. Yes, I agree. I see a few of you in there today. Look, we thought today Rassi was going to announce the squad, but no, he put out a memo or whatever saying no, it's going to be Thursday now. He has to evaluate stuff. But what are we going to evaluate today? News, the SA squad, the weekend ahead. Look at the weekend that just passed. The top 14 league, they did play. And then my team of the week, I did a team of the week because I did watch all the games on the weekend. So I thought I'll put a team on the week out there, see if you guys concur with me having the same team as you out there. And don't forget, I was on Hamish's Kiwi Lads yesterday. We predicted a Springbok squad. We had Ox in there, but we'll get into Ox afterwards, don't worry. So those are the topics for today. Let me take them away quickly. Then the question, as always, is, if I can get it, there you go. On what DEFCON level are we today? I think, we're simmering at about a 4. So we'll take the others away and we'll just say, something's up, but you never know. You never know what's going on. Hi, Eddie. There you go. So we had about a DEFCON 4 today. Easy peasy, nothing special there. Don't have to worry about. Guys, don't forget, hey, we've hit 105,000, so keep on liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, notification. Of course, you can become members. Don't forget that. And our email is on top if you want to drop us an email, and if you'd like to join the show, maybe you want something like that. There you go. I'll put the heart over there. I like that heart. So let's get into it. We'll start off with the international fixtures. These were the fixtures of the weekend. I don't need to switch off the email. That is not a good idea. There you go. So look, Ireland lost to New Zealand 13-26. We did that game live. That game was not, how do you say it? It wasn't entertaining, put it that way. Hands off to New Zealand. They did a good job. I just thought it was very start and stop, and the red card at the beginning that I thought wasn't a red card kind of destroyed the game. There was no flow to the game. It was a very tedious watch. It was like pulling teeth to get something out of the game. But there were some players in there that made my star team of the week. But I expected more. I think the whole world expected more from that game. And it was built up. USA, Soldier Field, everything cool. And I don't think it lived up to the hype. That happens a lot when two big teams play against each other because they cancel each other out. But I think more was the flow of the game wasn't good. A lot of handling errors, lots of undisciplinedness. A ref that I thought wasn't up to scratch or up to standard. But Then Scotland against the United States. Look, the US, they got that World Cup in 2031. They got a long way to go. They got a lot to work on. I mean, if you lose 85-0 to Scotland, can you imagine what the Springboks, New Zealand or France do to the United States? But look, you've got to start somewhere. Everybody has to start small. And the US is building something up, and I hope they do, because the more the merrier. Yep, we know Ox is out. If you were in the beginning, I said we'll talk about that afterwards. Things like that can happen, things like that can happen. Then South Africa against Japan, easy win, 61-7, very convincing. I mean, I said that the whole of last week already, with people coming, the Japanese could do this, they could do, no, they can't. No, they can't. This is not the Japan of old. They're just not in shape. It's a very young team that Eddie Jones is building up. They're gonna get hammered again this weekend. I'm sorry to say, but South Africa played really well. Of course, the injury to Ox and Che, that was a little bit of a downer. Rossi's got a few little headaches coming up for this weekend, I think. I've been trying to figure them out, but we'll talk about that afterwards. And then, look, England against Australia. I expected more from the Australians, I'll be very, very honest. A good, solid performance from the English, good defense. Got a few of them in my team of the week as well. Big win for the English if you're considering the world rankings, which I should have actually made a copy of. I can actually do that afterwards while we're talking, because Yanlu, hi Yanlu, because you do want to get into that top 6 of the rankings. Even better if you get into the top 4. But we will see. We'll see. Lots of rugby still to be played. Some tough games coming up for this weekend. Just to put this out there. Oh, where you go. There you go. Okay. Then the games ahead. Let's put that out there. This weekend, what is coming up? Look, another hard one for Japan. They got to face Ireland at the Viva Stadium, live on this channel. That's going to be a tough one. I can't see anything but a convincing Irish win. I think Ireland will give a lot of players a chance there that didn't play against New Zealand. Then New Zealand against Scotland, I think the same thing. That 85-0 against the USA means nothing when you play New Zealand. I think easy win here for New Zealand. Then England, Fiji. I heard some people saying, come on Fiji, beat the Poms. It ain't happening. England's way too strong for that. Look, I think the most interesting 2 games are the last 2 games. Italy, Australia. That should be a nice game. I give the Italians an outside chance of doing something. Australia definitely cannot afford to lose, because that would knock them definitely out of the race for the top 6. France, South Africa. France is at home. Is anybody the favourite? I don't think there's a favourite in this game, just due to the French being at home. I would back South Africa, obviously, because I'm not biased. But I don't see this being one team walking away with this. I'd back South Africa, maybe 3, maybe 5 points difference. That's what I'd be going for, because I think it's going to be a tough game. I mean, the French are billing this as a revenge game. I mean, on what planet do you live at? How do you get revenge for something you can't get back? This is not a World Cup final or a World Cup semi-final. You can't take revenge. If you win this game, you're not going to a World Cup. You're not winning a World Cup. So it can't be a revenge. We are going to humble the French. We seem unstoppable. Yeah, but 8-game winning streak also means nothing to me. Because if I play against Wales 8 times, then I'd be on a winning streak. It always depends on who you play. What are the last 8 games of England? They played an underwhelming Argentinian side there in the summer. They beat Italy. I think that they haven't had any good games. So, okay, they beat Australia. Let's give them that. I don't even answer your anymore. Majority favourites. No one's ever the favourite against the Springboks. Never. Not in the last years. You can't be favourite against the world number 1. It's just not. That's like me saying that's like when I go play tennis tomorrow and they decide Yannick Sinner wants to play tennis against me, while Vic's favourite. In what fucking universe? Doesn't happen. The French they're at home. It's a close game, but they're never favourites, because when you play against the number 1 team in the world, the number 1 team in the world is always favourite. That's just the bottom line. That's just my opinion. Then on Sunday, quite an interesting game. Wales against Argentina. I think Argentina way too strong for the Welsh. What can the Welsh do? I mean, the Welsh are in a total rebuild, a total disarray. Let's see what they can do there at the Principality Stadium. I'm looking forward to that one. Yeah, England. That's okay. Good for England. Fantastic. Then, guys, check out our video. I was on Kiwi Lads' show yesterday. We did a kind of a prediction of what Russie's going to do. Check it out. You can agree, disagree. I think it's a good video. Where Russie does have a headache is Ox. Ox can be out for a few weeks. Ligaments, looks like ligament problems there, so we'll have a look at that. But my question is, who replaces Ox? I had a team yesterday on Kiwi Lads. I'm not going to run through all that, but I think Wilker Lowe will stay on the 3, and I think they're going to play Thomas Tutoy in place of Ox and Che. I think his backup will be Steenkamp. Nabalakane is also there. You could use Boone Fenter. I don't think you'll use Zachary Portherin in this game. So I can see Thomas Tutoy, Malcolm Marks, and Wilker Lowe being our front 3 for this weekend. That's my opinion. You guys, if you have a different opinion, let me know. Ireland is on the same path as the Wales team. They were at the top, but never blooded new players, and then everyone retires or gets out. Okay. So, yeah, that's a big question for the Springboks. Then, who do you start at 10? Everybody's going to say, well, you've got to start Sasha. But look at Rossi. In the big games, he kind of reverts back to Pollard, I think. But maybe I can see Sasha and Marnie starting, because I can see Sasha playing at 15 this weekend. That's just me. I thought, Sasha could hit a 15. You never know. I'll get into the chat afterwards. And then another question I have is, do you start Jesse Krill or do you start Cannon Moody? Me personally, at the moment, I'd go with Cannon Moody and not with Jesse Krill. But it all depends. What are the French? Looks like the French are going 6-2 or maybe even 7-1. The French kind of like this new bomb squad approach themselves. Moaned about it all the time when the Springboks did it, but now when they have a good pack and stuff like that, now it's not a problem anymore. Now it's, wonderful, as the French would say. So we'll see. We'll see what happens on the weekend. Definitely we'll see what happens on the weekend. But, that announcement will come out on Thursday lunchtime, so join us for that. Bourne and Steenkamp will be the loose head. Bourne and Steenkamp will be the loose heads. Gerard and Lau on the bench. You're crazy. Never. I don't think so. But we'll see. Hey, we'll see what happens. Everybody has an opinion. I think Wilco Lau starts at the 3, and I think Thomas Atoy will move to the 1. I just think that's the way Russie's going to go. He'll want his most experienced players out there. Then let's get into the team of the week. As I did mention, I'm not going to put pictures of them up and stuff like that. We'll start in the front and we'll go all the way to 15. For me, as one of the 2 props, I took Ellis Geng. I thought he played really, really well. On the other one, I thought Wilco Lau played fantastic for the Springboks. And the hooker for me, Malcolm Marx. So my front row would have been Ellis Geng, Malcolm Marx, and Wilco Lau. Then my 2 locks were Fabian Holland and Luke de Jager. I thought Luke de Jager was sensational. Good on the lineouts on the weekend. Fabian Holland, I watched that game from New Zealand. A lot of good tackles, getting over the ball quickly, winning balls back. I thought he was great. Then my loose forwards, I got Guy Pepper. I thought he was a good game, a really good game for a young guy. Of course, my number 7 was Ardie Surveyor. I thought he was sensational. Once again, I mean, the man, you don't hardly ever see him have a bad game. And then at number 8, I took Jack Dempsey. Scott's there doing well there. I thought he did really, really well. The scrum off of the weekend for me was Cam Roygaard. And the fly off of the weekend, I took Sasha. You couldn't get past Sasha. Then on my my centers, I took Damien DeLinda and Lester Fanaga Unuku. I thought he was great for New Zealand as well. Damien DeLinda, always solid, getting over the ball, good tackles, very good defensive center. I think he was one of the Springboks that had the most meters gained, so I put him there. Then my back 3, I took Kurtley Arneser, obviously, because he was man of the match there for the Springboks. Darcy Graham for the Scottish was phenomenal, 3 tries. What else can you say? And my fullback was Will Jordan. I thought Will Jordan played really well for the All Blacks, but that's just my team of the week. You guys can obviously have a different opinion. All opinions are welcome. I'm going to go through the chat quickly, just have a look what the boys are saying here. Fraser McWright must be in the team. Well, I didn't put him in there. He was the Fanaka Anuga. I would take any Scots since they played the USA. Doesn't matter. They played well. We played Japan. Scotland would have beat Japan. Australia would have beat Japan. So what are you telling me? I could only take from New Zealand and Ireland? No. Luke Diago was good. No, it doesn't matter the competition. You've still got to put it on the field, and they put it on the field. So those are my picks for this week. You guys can obviously have a different opinion. That is no problem. Then, hey, let's still get into the top 14. Was played this weekend. Toulon beat Lyon 54-21. Pau beat Perpignan 27-23. Montpellier beat Clermont, lost to Clermont 7-9. That must have been a great game for the spectators, 7-9. Custers lost to Bordeaux 26-28. Bionnet beat US Montauban 49-7. Toulouse beat Stade France 29-17, and La Rochelle beat Racing 33-16. I mentioned that about 2 weeks ago. I mentioned that 2 weeks ago about Dupont getting the special contract. While we talk about the French top 14, I just wanted to give you guys some information there. I did write some things down there, and that is following teams. I wasn't quite clear, but the record winner of the top 14 in France is Toulouse. They've won it 24 times. And the second best team, I'm only taking teams that are in the league right now, is Stade Francais. They have won it 14 times. So yeah, surprise there. I was actually surprised to see that Bordeaux is in there. This version of Bordeaux, because they did fold once and then they came back again. So yeah, this version of Bordeaux still needs to win. Bionnet has won it 3 times. Racing 6 times. Yeah, but Toulouse definitely the biggest club on a winning perspective. Yes, they did do well in New Zealand. No, that was a good game against Ireland. They're still not in the number 1 spot, just behind South Africa in the ranking, so they didn't pick up that many points. But it's probably the richest club in the world with Racing. Racing got a lot of money there as well. We'll see. We'll see when that rugby, that Club World Championship starts, how that looks. When you have the Chiefs, the Crusaders, the Blues, then you have the teams from the URC, you have the French teams, you have the English teams. It's going to be very interesting to see. I think they're going to take that quite seriously because there's a lot of money to be made there. But that's your top 14 results. Let's have a look at the table. If I can get it. There you go. Up on top is Toulouse ahead of Pau. Then you got Bordeaux. But at the bottom, Perpignan. Yeah, it's not looking good. But they got 1 point. They got a bonus point for losing. So that was the first point. Chiefs will go far. Yeah. Hey, listen here. You never know with those tournaments. It's hard to say, but I think the Super Rugby teams, the URC teams, the French teams, the English teams should be very interesting in that competition. But that is only in 2028, if I'm correct. Toulouse is like Arsenal. No, not really. No. Toulouse is more like Manchester United or Liverpool, winning the most titles. Arsenal is not in the bracket of winning the most titles. Arsenal has never won a European title. So you're fucking disrespecting Toulouse by comparing them to Arsenal. Oh my lord. That would be like me comparing, I don't know, the Stormers to Real Madrid. Jeez. Oh lord. No, not happening. But that's the Defcon show for today. Not too long. Got to have Vern next to me so I can banter him a little bit. Don't forget, tomorrow morning show, 7 o'clock Central European time. Then tomorrow afternoon is the Premier League predictions. And the next Defcon show will be on Thursday. And then we'll have all the teams, the lineups for the weekend. That should be very interesting. But you guys enjoy your rugby. Get ready. Relax. We've got a few days. And then it all hits off on Saturday again. So, stock up the refrigerator with the beers, the cupboard with the boerewors and whatever else snacks you need. So get ready for Saturday. It's going to be an epic battle there. And we'll see you soon. Guys, enjoy and thanks a lot.